Look, I'm not afraid to admit defeat, and I'm not afraid to tell you when I've been wrong. And so, the last video I was talking about new diet plan, yada yada yada, was gonna have this and that. But to be honest, it just wasn't working. And the reason being is this. So, since I feel like I'm always kind of in the car, as you can see, because every video is in the car, I feel like the things that I was making are not really things that I can take with me. And as much as they might be enjoyable, it just doesn't really fit my lifestyle at the moment. So for example, that bowl kind of thing I was telling you about was kind of just like a really big salad. And that's kind of hard to carry around with you during the day. So what wound up happening is just that I would have something like a salad that I would be like, oh, I can't take that with me. I would have a smoothie, can't take that with me. And so it wound up being just... It's so easy to fall off track at that point because I don't really have any accountability. So, actually let me close this. So new plan is I'm going a little bit more back to bro. So just going to be more basic meals that can fit in Tupperware, that can be carried around. They might not be as exciting as what I was thinking about making, but honestly, it'll just help me adhere a little bit more. Truth be told, I just need a little bit more structure and nutrients back into my diet. I was just having too much crap just because it fit my macros. So I'm excited to just get back more into whole foods and stuff that I'm excited to eat. So let's go take a little grocery run and I'll show you what I'll make for this week. Pro tip. Don't drive across town to go to the grocery store at rush hour. I'm just getting here and it usually takes me 10 or 15 minutes and it took me an hour and 15. Redonkulous. Alright, let's go see what they have. I don't think I've ever finished a gallon of water before, and I said I was going to do it by 5 p.m., but it's 5:57, but we're not going to count that because it got done. Anyway, we're at Kroger, so let's get the rest of these groceries. And also pee, because the gallon's kicking in right now. Alright, now that we've gone grocery shopping, let me show you what we're working with here as far as meals go. Alright, let me pull this up real quick. So this is the meal plan for this month. I usually change them every month, just, I get sick of them and it's good to change things around. But bottom right corner is going to be my goal macros / calories. So right now that's 250 protein, 425 carb, and 100 fat. However, I'm kind of loose with those. I think the fat is a little bit high, but I wanted to have the number be a little bit higher in case I fell short, just in case. I usually go over just slightly in protein, and carbs is usually a little more flexible. So these are just going to be more guidelines versus hard numbers here. So if we look from the top down, I usually do this in Excel versus MyFitnessPal just so I can be a little bit more accurate, and also just because, I don't know, I'm a little bit anal about that kind of stuff. MyFitnessPal, I just don't really like tracking every day, truth be told. So with this, I feel like if I just type everything in, I plan it out for the week, I can just have that every day of the week and know that I'm getting everything exact, if that makes sense. And also this is a little bit more of a grocery list too, just because I feel like I email this to myself and I'm just okay, got that, as I go through the store. Versus MyFitnessPal, it's a little bit harder to make a shopping list. I don't know. It's just something that works for me. So if we start from the top down, this is what I usually do. I usually type in all the meals I want to get. From there, I figure out what the protein sources of those meals are going to be. And I figure out what a normal serving size would be. Most things I usually use the container and then divide that by 6. So for example, ground turkey, I took the container of ground turkey, divided it by 6 for 6 days, and then that serving will be 1 day's worth of ground turkey. So that's why that's 2.5 ounces. So from there, I usually find all my protein sources, and then after that, I usually use what remaining macros I have to either be flavorings, fillings, stuff like that, just to make it a little bit more fun. For everything, recently I've been trying to have more fruits and vegetables, so that's why there's a lot more there, but yet I also like to have a little bit more comfort food, so that's why there's cheese and pesto and other stuff like that, just because I have the macros for it, I enjoy it, etc., etc. So we're just gonna start prepping. I got my oven on, about to just cook these, cook this, and then probably sweet potatoes too. So that should probably take like an hour-ish. All right, got everything laid out. Let me give you the rundown of what we're making this week. So first off, the stuff that was too big to put on the counter, we got oats, we got rice, we got whey. These are gonna be pretty much the staples of any sort of like bodybuilding diet, except for Pug here. He always just sits by my feet no matter where I am. What's up, buddy? All right, just gonna run you through everything we got up here. First thing's gonna be Brussels sprouts, one of my favorite veggies just because they get so flaky. We have broccoli, just a staple. It's pretty cheap, and it's just a good all-around vegetable. As far as flavoring goes, feta, I'm gonna put that on my shrimp pasta. This is protein spaghetti. I found this at Kroger. It's pretty good actually, and I like eating pasta, so I kind of prefer that over rice. So I like that this is a little bit more protein. And I always like angel hair because I like the thinner consistency. Anywho, continuing down the line, we got brown rice ramen. I found this at Costco. I probably will get something else, but I just liked these noodles. The macros are kind of meh. 3 fat, 48 carb, 8 protein for one little square of them. So I might see if I can find something better. In here we have kale. I usually keep this in Tupperware because otherwise it gets really soggy and gross. Got olive oil, which I need to replenish. That's just going to be for Brussels sprouts. Got pesto. This is going to be for shrimp pasta. Pesto is always really good. It's usually hit or miss, but I really like the Costco one just because it's very sharp. It's got a good little cheese taste to it. So I like that one. So if we keep going down here, I usually just kind of pick a random flavor of pasta sauce every week. This week is mushroom. It's just gonna go on my ground turkey pasta. So gonna have that. So the protein pasta, the sauce, the ground turkey, and the cheese are all gonna go together as one meal. Look at these hand motions. The coconut oil, I'm gonna put 5 grams with some cinnamon with some mashed sweet potatoes. I usually do around maybe 300 grams of sweet potatoes. It might be baby food, but I really like the consistency of mashed sweet potatoes. And I usually put a little bit of salt in there. I don't know, it just is a nice little blend of sweet and salty. And especially when you cook these, they get really like caramelized and like molassesy. Blueberries. Blueberries are going to go in the kale shake along with yogurt, bananas, tropical medley, just because got to get that pineapple though, and then whey. Chicken, I kept this in the bag because it gets a little bit leaky. I usually throw in the crock pot with some low sodium chicken broth. That kind of gets shredded up. It stays really moist. And then I usually will put this with some low sodium soy sauce. That's going to be where I'm going to put my broccoli and rice for the week as well, and that's going to be a meal. And I'm also going to put some mushrooms into that too. So these are portobello. I'm going to wash these. You can get a good price from Costco. Shrimp's going to go in the pasta, and then mixed berry blend is going to go in oats with peanut butter. So that should be everything. If you want to, you can screenshot my meal plan. Just kind of use it as guidelines because everyone's macros and calories are going to be different, but I hope that helps. I don't know, I'm not the best at this. It's been a long experience of trial and error, so just kind of learning what works for me as far as convenience, accessibility, taste, etc. So hopefully this kind of sheds some light. It doesn't all have to be just like plain everything, but it also shouldn't be just over the top sugary, nasty foods either. So that's a typical grocery haul. I need to figure out like average price for this kind of stuff, just because so much of it is like bulk food that you can get in Costco that it might be a big initial price, but then you don't have to get it again for like a month or so. So I need to just kind of figure out price and figure out what's the most like cost-effective method. But so far, it's been working pretty good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get everything prepped. I'll see you when it's done. Okay, we finished. So if you see here, my little shelf of the fridge, we're fully stocked.